Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Marvel character spotlight on none other than Skaar. Skaar. Now for those of you who don't know who that is, this is the Hulk's son. Now, we're going to talk about his comic book history, and then as always go into the Marvel power grid, which is out of 7 as always. And we're going to talk about their powers and everything else. But let's start from the beginning. Skaar is the son of the Hulk and Kyra, the Old Straw. After Kyra's death, a cocoon containing Skaar fell into the Lake of Fire. After a period of time, Skaar emerged from the cocoon, appearing to be the age of a human boy. A year later appeared to be a grown young adult, and had spent the time in the swamps of Old Sam, who attempted to erase, teach, and guide him, after he discovered him shortly after shadow people burnt tattoos onto his skin. It took Old Sam months to get him to wear a loincloth and speak. Later he was on planet Skaar. This is where he built the trust of the king there and began to, I don't want to say rule, but attempt to gain power. It was during this time that everyone who cared for him unfortunately turned against him when they found out that, well, unfortunately, he wasn't as good as they had thought. And because of this, there was a huge war on it, and he was actually exiled from Skaar. And he was exiled to Earth. Now, during this time, he was sent through a wormhole to Earth, and Mr. Fantastic saw his arrival, as well as Hulk's cousin She-Hulk, who could sense his location and gender. So apparently, Skaar attacked a helicopter for killing an innocent coyote puppy. It was during this time that they began to fight with Skaar, She-Hulk, and the 3 members of the Fantastic Four, because Invisible Woman was doing her best to try to hold off the Hulk, who was very, very far away. During this time, apparently Norman Osborn was trying to set off a bunch of nukes at once, one of which was set off and collided in the area where they were fighting, and what happened was Skaar transformed back into his human form. In this human form, he befriended 2 local children, while beginning to doubt the actions he had taken on Skaar, which led to its destruction. One of the siblings injured himself on a cliff, and the younger sibling rushed into nearby police for help. Mistaking Skaar for a threat, one of the officers tased him and proceeded to attempt to arrest him. This provoked him into transforming into his, well, Hulk self, I guess you would say. And during this time, he went around and escaped. Now, after running and attacking the war-bound, Skaar asked how to kill his father. As the Green Skaar version of Hulk, appearing immediately to confront him, Kate Winsborough stated that you just don't. Then the Green Skaar confronted Skaar? Yeah. Anyway, his son in battle, and the Warbound initially decided not to interfere, but decided to, as Kate pointed out, their battle was going to endanger a nearby power plant. Korg tried to get involved. Unfortunately, he got used as a weapon against each other, and this is when they decided that they needed to talk, mostly because Korg was telling them they had to. And it was during this time Green Skaar no longer existed, and the Savage Hulk came out. Skaar was disgusted at his father's diminished intelligence and asked if he knew who he was. And the Hulk just basically said he's the strongest there is. And Skaar just was so disappointed in his father because he realized that he's not a king like he thought. He's just a clown. And unfortunately, when he grabbed Skaar's face, he recognized Ciara in his son's eyes and became the World Breaker once more. But was pushed back into Banner's mind and regressed back into Savage Hulk. Skaar wanted the World Breaker to return was quickly ignored by the Savage Hulk and left. The Warbound were trying to stop a nuclear catastrophe at the nearby power plant caused by the fight when they were unexpectedly aided by Hulk and subsequently Skaar. Skaar using his old power, which we will talk about a little bit later, and they decided to go back together. Now, during this time, apparently, Skaar encountered Banner, who had been robbed of his ability to be turned into the Hulk, thanks to his ex-father-in-law, Red Hulk. It was then Banner offered to teach Skaar how to kill the Green Skaar, should he ever return, and proceeded to pick a fight with Skaar and Juggernaut in Arizona. Skaar managed to win because he used his brain and his might to actually send Juggernaut into open space because he realized he could not physically stop the Juggernaut, and tried to explain to his father that obviously, he can use both brains and bronze. In their second lesson, Skaar, the still naive Skaar, the ability to discern friend from foe, and Banner tried doing this when he met up with Wolverine to bring Draken, who was his son, together, and it did not go well. They had to separate the two and basically argued against each other on their parenting skills, which is so bizarre. So anyway, Moonstone, who was still in the Miss Marvel garb, lured Banner and Skaar to a nearby installation to siphon away his old power. Unfortunately, it did not work, and because of this, they wanted to, they recharged Banner's physiology and accelerated the rebirth of the Hulk. Banner froze Skaar's childlike glee, knowing that Skaar would still need training for his revenge. Later, Skaar assisted Banner and A-Bomb while fighting the Harpy, and it turned out the Harpy that attacked them wasn't even Betty Ross, it was somebody else that was mutated into the Harpy by the leader. Now, during this time, Skaar attempted to become a hero. I put that in quotations because he did some good. I mean, he fought against the Red Hulk, Doctor Doom. He even went up against and aided the Avengers in going against the Red She-Hulk. A lot of stuff was going on overall, and they were just trying, how do I put this? It got to the point where Skaar was just trying to understand his father better. And in the end, they had a nice father and son moment, which I thought was nice. Now, then we have Dark Avengers. Skaar joined Norman Osborn's new team of the Dark Avengers as a double agent on the behalf of Steve Rogers. In fact, he was supposed to be the one to take out all of the Dark Avengers out. Apparently, after the Thunderbolts went missing, the Dark Avengers were recruited as a replacement team. They were implanted with nanites in order to prevent them from going rogue, and placed under the leadership of Luke Cage. Skaar was asked to join the team by Luke Cage, who wanted somebody to watch his back in case the Dark Avengers went rogue. Skaar later traveled to the Savage Land as it reminded him of his planet, and he was tracked down by Doc Green, who was the Hulk's newest and most intelligent persona, in order to depower him as part of his plan to cure every Gamma mutant on Earth except for himself. After a brief fight, Skaar was finally depowered, and Doc Green teleported Skaar to Paris, along with a backpack full of money, so he could start a new life and a better life under the new name Santos. Skaar became hunter and lived at the edges of Pyrus Mountains. Interesting. And then during this last one, it was called Project Green Spring. It was when Hulk's old nemesis, the Abomination, resurfaced and enlisted Skaar into joining Green Spring, an insurgent project focused on the creation of Gamma mutants. Skaar was the first test subject of Dr. Alba procedure, which turned slivers of the Abomination skins into grafts. This returned Skaar his Gamma powers by adding finger-like protrusions on his temples, derived from Abomination's new form. So he had those weird, tentacle things around his head. Now I understand. When fellow test subject Stockpile fled the Green Spring after discovering it was secretly experimenting on the population of Thomasville, Texas, Skaar went to retrieve her. He crossed paths with Gamma Flight, who was investigating Stockpile's rampage. They joined forces with Stockpile against Skaar, but escaped after the arrival of the United States Hulkbuster Force. Skaar was allowed to continue fighting the Hulkbusters as a show of power. Returning to the Green Springs base, Skaar was deployed to confront Gamma Flight when they infiltrated the base in an attempt to stop their experiments. Stockpile managed to talk Skaar out of serving the abomination, both arguing that Bolonsky was exploiting, Skaar's father issues, and the Green Springs Gamma monsters could pose a competition for him. Well, he participated in the final battle against Abomination and resulted in the Abomination being driven away. That's basically all we knew about him. So let's talk about his powers. So his powers, he has the old power, which is a possess the shadow people's old power, which allows him to connect to and manipulate the earth and stone of the planet, control lava, speak through earth, turn his own body into stone, and even form recognition, showing him all who had walked the planet, Skaar in the last 40 moons, and things they had done. This power was removed from him by Silver Surfer, and then was returned to him by his mother. He has super strength. I mean, he's having to absorb 100 trillion tons of kinetic energy from a city fight. The Hulk. He's also sent, obviously, Juggernaut into space with ease, punching beings miles away, slaying dragons of Skaar, all these things. And it shouldn't be all that surprising since he is the son of Hulk. He has superhuman stamina. Apparently, during his time for Axeman Bone, trying to protect and survive all in one, has shown the ability to keep his stamina for extended periods of time. He's nigh invulnerable. Apparently, in addition to his Hulk-like strength, Skaar's body possesses a high degree of resilience to physical injury and pain, as well as unique immunity to anything heat-related. Skaar's skin is capable of withstanding extreme heat without blistering and great impact. And being a Hulk bolstered his old power. Skaar possesses the potential for invulnerability. Having survived falls from outer planetary orbit, taking full-strength blows from Iron Fist, as well as those from the stronger Hulk persona, the Green Skaar himself. He's a regenerative healing factor. He can pretty much heal from almost any injury. Self-sustenance. Skaar is capable of surviving in the vacuum of space unaided and does not need air, food, water, or sleep. He has suspended aging. Apparently, he does not age. This is because of his great healing factor that regenerates his cells, and the gamma radiation and the old power that empowers him all combined pretty much suspend his aging. Rapid maturity. Shortly after Skaar's cocoon left his mother's body, he emerged from burning waters at a preteen age. A year later, he grew into a teenager. He has enhanced senses, either a natural effect of his transformation or due to his alien heritage. He can pretty much pick up subtle biochemical changes within a functional organism, being able to tell from human beings and sensing Draken's usage of pheromones to sway his emotional state. He can also transform, which shouldn't be all that shocking since who his dad is. Skaar is self-trained a weapons master. He's obviously vulnerable to the Muramasa blade, which nullifies superhuman healing factors, and Draken, of course, has used it to severely injure him. Skaar generally wields his large broadsword and has all the physical strengths of the Hulk, which scares everyone. Now, as always, the power grid is out of 7 in Marvel Universe, so his intelligence is a 3, which is slightly above average. His strength is a 7, which is pretty much incalculable. They have no idea how actually strong he is. His speed is a 3, it's superhuman. His durability is a 6, it's just superhuman. His energy projection is 2, which means only on contact. His fighting skill is a 4, which means he's an experienced fighter. So overall, this character is definitely somebody you need to watch out for. That being said, the reason why we're doing a character spotlight on him is because he's been introduced into the MCU, specifically at the end credits of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. And it is during that time that we get to see that he does have a son, and it is him. But we don't know much about him, so I'll be interested to see what story they use for Skaar and how likely we are to see him be villain/hero in the MCU. Definitely be interested to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this a character you're excited that's in the MCU or not? And explain why in the comments below. And also, if there's a character you want me to do a character spotlight on, whether it be Marvel, DC, or even anime, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.